Chosen one, you must stop scrolling this very second. Do not let your finger touch that back button. This is not the algorithm playing a random trick on your feed today. Heaven forcefully routed this exact frequency to you because a massive window of absolute danger is opening right now. You have exactly 44 seconds to anchor yourself to this urgent message. We are rapidly approaching the 4th of July. You might think it is just another earthly holiday, but in the unseen realm, a massive spiritual portal is shifting and your enemies are preparing a deadly snare. They want to catch you completely off guard while the world is distracted. Listen to me very carefully because your spiritual safety depends on this truth. I know you have been incredibly exhausted lately. You wake up at 3 in the morning with a heavy chest. The anxiety feels so thick that you can barely breathe. You wonder if your prayers are just bouncing off the ceiling and leaving you completely alone. The enemy wants you to believe you are stuck in survival mode forever, but heaven says otherwise. You have spent your entire life being the strong one for everyone else. You are the bleeding empath who absorbs the pain of the room, and yet you are left entirely alone when you are the one hurting. You give and you give until your gentle soul is completely drained, while toxic people take your pure energy without ever giving anything back to you. Let us talk about the people who deeply hurt you. They walked away from you, and now they are acting completely innocent. They smile in public, and they play the victim while you sit in silence with a shattered heart. It makes you question your own sanity every single day. You ask heaven why they get to live so happily while you suffer in the dark. But you do not see what is happening behind the veil. Their superficial happiness is a complete illusion designed to break your faith. Right now, in the unseen realm, those toxic narcissists are watching your timeline in absolute panic. They truly thought they had buried you forever, and they believed their malicious gossip had permanently destroyed your beautiful future. They made one fatal miscalculation about your spiritual identity. They did not realize who you truly belong to. The universe is entirely aware of every tear you cried in secret, and as the 4th of July approaches, they are secretly planning to reach out to you. They will send a casual message just to test your boundaries. You must never fall for their twisted game. This is a calculated trap to steal your incoming blessing. They can feel the massive generational wealth transfer that is heading your way. Your pure light is getting brighter, and it terrifies them because they are starving in the dark. They want to pull you back into their toxic cycle before you can step into your divine inheritance. They know their time is running out very quickly. You must listen with your spirit and not just your physical ears. If you walk away from this frequency right now, you will leave your spiritual doors wide open. Heaven has issued an urgent interception over your life to protect you from this exact snare. I am going to reveal their exact strategy so you can build a blinding wall of fire around your aura. Breathe deeply right now. Let the noise of the earthly world fade away completely. Notice that strange tightness sitting right in the center of your chest. That is your spirit confirming the absolute truth of these powerful words. You are not crazy, and you did not imagine the abuse they put you through, because heaven is validating every single painful experience you quietly endured. You are never just a helpless victim in this story. You are the rare anomaly chosen to break the heavy generational curses of your entire bloodline. That is exactly why your earthly life has been so incredibly hard. The darkness always targets the greatest light before the ultimate victory arrives, but the season of your silent suffering is officially expiring today. Stay closely with me because your total vindication is about to begin. Before we go any deeper, I need you to understand one vital truth. You feel completely exhausted in your mind and body. Your physical frame aches with a strange pain every single day. The heavy weight on your shoulders feels entirely unbearable. And it is not just a normal earthly tiredness that a simple good night of rest can magically fix for your tired soul. It is a deep weariness in your spirit from constantly trying to do the right thing. You have always been the selfless giver in your family. You are the one who shows up for everyone else when they are falling apart. You quietly listen to their problems and absorb their heavy negative energy. But when you are the one sitting on the cold floor crying in the dark, you look around and realize the room is entirely empty. Your beautiful loyalty was given to people who never truly valued you. It feels incredibly unfair to your pure heart. You watch the people who deeply betrayed you living their lives as if nothing happened. They confidently post fake happy pictures on their online profiles. They smile brightly in public spaces for everyone to see. And they receive praises from ignorant people who do not know the terrible dark things they did to you in secret. It makes your blood boil with a silent and helpless frustration. I was there when you fell to your knees at 3 in the morning. You held your chest because the anxiety was so heavy. You could hardly breathe through the intense emotional pain. I saw the silent tears you quickly wiped away so your loved ones would not know you were completely breaking inside. You have carried the heavy weight of everyone else for so long. Listen to my voice very carefully right now. Your sudden exhaustion is absolutely not a medical issue. It is a severe spiritual symptom of your divine calling. You are carrying a massive energetic load that does not even belong to you anymore. You are the ultimate cycle breaker for your bloodline, and breaking decades of generational trauma requires an enormous amount of your pure spiritual energy. You look at those toxic individuals and wonder why their lives seem so effortless. They lie and manipulate to get exactly what they desire. They use kind people like stepping stones to climb higher. Meanwhile, you refuse to compromise your pure heart, and you seem to be the only one constantly struggling to survive. You sit in absolute silence and ask the universe why being good feels like a punishment. This is the most painful part of your spiritual journey. They hurt you deeply, and then they act like you are the crazy one. They twist the false narrative to make themselves look like the helpless victim. They completely gaslight your reality with their lies until you start doubting your own clear memories and questioning your own precious sanity. It is a calculated psychological torture designed to drain your light. Take one slow and deep breath right now. Notice how heavy your stomach feels when you think about their fake innocence. You have spent countless hours analyzing what you could have done differently. You constantly blame yourself for not being enough to save the broken connection. You wonder if you are actually the toxic one because they manipulated your mind so perfectly to make you carry their guilt. You must stop punishing your gentle spirit today. You are a beautiful soul who simply wanted to love and be loved in return. Your only real mistake was giving your sacred pearls to people who only knew how to survive in the dirty mud. They could never understand the endless depth of your unconditional love. So they tried to destroy the very bright light that they were secretly so jealous of. Do not let their temporary earthly success fool you. It is incredibly painful to watch them walk away with pieces of your heart. You feel like a shattered glass window that nobody even wants to help fix. The lonely dark nights are painfully long, and your anxious racing mind entirely refuses to shut down and let you rest. You overthink every single cruel word they said to you. But heaven has a completely different perspective on your current situation. The universe never ignored their extremely malicious actions against you. Every time they lied about you, a strict divine record was kept in heaven. Your silent tears were carefully collected by the angels and transformed into a massive energetic currency that will soon pay you back. You are absolutely not losing this spiritual battle. Now, my beloved child, let us talk about the silence that breaks your heart. You look around your earthly life and realize how incredibly small your circle has become. The deep loneliness feels like a physical weight pressing against your bones. You used to be surrounded by many people who claimed to love you, But when the difficult storms finally arrived, they completely vanished into the dark shadows and left you to fight alone. This brings us to a spiritual reality that most people completely ignore. The toxic narcissist intentionally isolated you from anyone who could see their dark mask. They slowly poisoned your connections and made you feel incredibly dependent on them. They played the innocent victim perfectly to the outside world, while secretly destroying your pure spirit behind closed doors where nobody else could rescue you. It is a deeply terrifying psychological abuse. You sit alone in your quiet room and constantly question your own sanity. They twisted every single argument to make you believe that you were the unstable one. You deeply apologize for things you never even did just to keep the fragile peace in your home. And they happily accepted your desperate apologies while secretly laughing at your beautiful vulnerability, because they knew they had successfully distorted your entire perception of reality. They made you believe your high standards were actually unreasonable demands. You are the bleeding empath who always tries to find the good in toxic people. You made endless excuses for their terrible behavior. You did this because you saw their unhealed childhood trauma and wanted to fix them. But you must realize that understanding their deep pain does not mean you have to tolerate their constant abuse and let them destroy your beautiful life. They used your deep compassion as a weapon to drain your pure energy. They left you entirely empty, without any guilt. They are out there right now, acting like they did absolutely nothing wrong. They tell completely fabricated stories to mutual friends. They want to ruin your pure reputation before you can finally speak up. It makes you feel so incredibly helpless and isolated from the rest of the world, and you want to scream the truth, but you know nobody will actually believe you. They wear their fake angelic mask so perfectly that it genuinely scares you. But heaven sees every single hidden detail of their dark manipulation. You did not imagine the cruel tones they used. You did not make up those cold stares they gave you. Your powerful intuition was always trying to heavily warn you about their demonic attachments, but your gentle heart simply refused to believe that someone could be so evil. Do not let their gaslighting make you doubt your clear physical reality. Your current isolation is absolutely not a punishment for being a bad person. What you call a painful abandonment is actually a strict divine quarantine. The universe had to forcefully remove these energetic parasites from your timeline. If they had stayed in your precious life for one more year, they would have completely destroyed your divine destiny and blocked your massive financial blessings. You are safely hidden right now for a massive upgrade. I need you to physically confirm that you are receiving this powerful validation. Tap the like button right now as a physical act of agreement with what heaven is declaring. Let that simple action be a bold statement that you are taking your precious power back. You will no longer accept the false narrative that the narcissist projected onto you, and you are finally stepping out of the dark fog of their toxic manipulation. You are claiming your absolute freedom today. Stop right there and listen to me very carefully. You might think this quiet season will last forever. You feel like you will always be alone in this cold world. But the absolute truth is that your enemies are running out of time, because the very isolation they forced upon you has completely transformed you into a quiet master of reality. They accidentally taught you how to fight in the spirit. Your beautiful revenge is coming very soon. Do not let the enemy convince you this is just another coincidence. The tears you cry in secret are heavily watering your future empire. You feel like you are entirely forgotten by the world right now, but heaven is actively preparing a massive table for you in the presence of your enemies, and they will soon be forced to watch you receive the exact blessings they tried to steal. You are heavily protected and deeply loved. I know you are extremely tired. I know you are wondering why everything takes so long. Let me explain this mystery to you. You have cried out to heaven and heard absolutely nothing back, and the silence in your room feels completely deafening. You wonder if your prayers are disappearing into the cold void, and you think the universe has forgotten your pure existence. But wait, and do not let your guard down just yet. There is a deeply hidden layer to this struggle. You measure your spiritual progress by the visible blessings you can touch. And because you see absolutely no physical movement in your life, you believe you are being strictly punished for your mistakes. You actually think your past has permanently disqualified you from receiving my abundant grace. That is a total lie, because what you call abandonment is actually a profound divine protection. The universe is absolutely not punishing your gentle soul. Heaven is actively digging a massive foundation in the dark, unseen realm. When you build a small house, you can simply put it on the dirt. But when you build a massive empire, you must dig incredibly deep. You are the rare anomaly of your entire bloodline. You are not meant to carry a small earthly blessing. You are being meticulously prepared for a massive generational wealth transfer. That level of extreme abundance carries a very heavy, energetic weight. If heaven simply dropped it into your lap right now, your emotional foundation would shatter under the immense pressure. That is exactly why everything takes so incredibly long. The silence is the quiet sound of the master builder working. The universe is forcefully removing all the unstable dirt from your life. Those toxic narcissists had to be completely cleared out of your space. If they were still standing next to you when the massive blessing arrived, they would steal your entire inheritance. I need you to pay extremely close attention to this next part. Look at the heavy doors that suddenly closed in your face. You cried endlessly because you desperately wanted those earthly opportunities. You felt entirely rejected by the world. But heaven clearly saw the hidden deadly traps waiting behind those specific doors. The rejection you deeply hated was actually heaven saving your precious life. The enemies who plotted against you are watching this silence. They see you sitting in the quiet, dark, and they secretly laugh. They truly believe they have permanently defeated a magnificent weapon of light. They think the universe has left you defenseless, but they do not understand the sacred paradox of the divine delay. They are making a deeply fatal mistake right now. This brings us to a spiritual reality that most people completely ignore. The extended silence is intentionally designed to lull your enemies into a false sense of security. They drop their weapons because they think you are already dead. They become incredibly arrogant and careless with their dark actions, and that is exactly when the universe prepares to strike them with absolute divine justice. Breathe deeply right now and feel this powerful truth. You are not a flawed product of your painful past. You are being beautifully reshaped in the hands of a deeply patient potter. The potter never talks loudly while spinning the heavy clay. The silence in the room means the creator is entirely focused on making a pure masterpiece out of your broken pieces. Your deep roots are finally hitting the hidden living water. You have done the hard inner work while nobody was watching. You survived the brutal, lonely winter when you had absolutely nothing left to give. The heavy dirt is about to break wide open. Heaven is proud of your endurance, and your beautiful manifestation is rushing toward the surface at an incredible speed. Do not mistake my slow process for a permanent denial. The isolation was an absolute necessity for your victory. You are a quiet master of reality who no longer begs for earthly validation. But there is a very dangerous illusion waiting just ahead of you. Keep watching closely, because I am about to expose exactly how they plan to steal your massive harvest. Now, my beloved child, let us talk about the beautiful mask they wear in public. The narcissists who broke your heart are walking around acting entirely innocent. They want the earthly world to believe they are the victims of your boundaries. They smile brightly and tell incredibly twisted stories to anyone who will listen. But heaven sees absolutely everything behind their fake, earthly smile. When the front door closes and they are finally alone, a massive wave of dark panic hits them. They do not have your pure light to feed on anymore. They are literally starving in the cold dark because you completely cut off their spiritual supply. You look at their life and think they are winning this battle. You see them moving on quickly with new friends who blindly believe their lies. But do not let their temporary illusion fool your gentle soul. Their new relationships are entirely superficial and built on a foundation of toxic manipulation. They are desperately trying to fill a void. You are the bleeding empath who actually felt the deep pain of the separation. You cried the heavy tears and did the grueling inner work to heal your spirit. But they ran away from their own shadows to avoid facing their dark actions. They are absolutely terrified of the heavy silence because it forces them to hear their own guilt. Stop right there and listen to me very carefully. The people who smiled in your face while plotting your downfall are currently watching your rise in absolute panic. They secretly check your status while pretending they do not care at all. They notice the massive shift in your pure energy, and it terrifies them completely. They truly thought their malicious gossip had permanently destroyed your future. They expected you to stay broken and begging for their toxic validation, but instead you became a quiet master of reality who no longer needs their approval. Your beautiful silence is driving them absolutely crazy because they cannot control you anymore. You must protect this new peaceful frequency at all earthly costs. Hit subscribe to establish a divine energy receiving station around your aura. Let this action be a physical wall that permanently blocks their negative projections. You are actively building a heavily protected sanctuary where their dark lies can never reach you again. They are slowly waking up to a highly terrifying reality today. They realize they threw away the most loyal person they ever had. Nobody else will ever absorb their toxic behavior the way your gentle spirit did. They are frantically searching for a replacement, but nobody carries the pure anointing that you naturally possess. Their carefully crafted public mask is beginning to slip violently. The universe is orchestrating situations that will expose their true dark nature to everyone. The very people they manipulated to turn against you are starting to see the cracks in their fake stories. The divine truth always rises to the surface eventually. Take a deep breath and release the heavy burden of proving them wrong. You do not need to defend your pure character to anyone. The universe is aggressively fighting this battle on your behalf while you rest safely. Your only job is to stay completely out of the dirty mud they are desperately trying to drag you back into. They can feel the massive, energetic boomerang heading straight for their life. The divine justice is entirely unavoidable for those who intentionally harm a chosen one. They are losing sleep while you are finally resting in perfect peace. The heavy chains they tried to wrap around your destiny are wrapping around their own necks. Do not mistake my process for punishment. Let me pull back the veil on what is really happening next. The universe is not just punishing them for their cruel earthly actions. Heaven is actively preparing to transfer the exact blessings they tried to steal straight into your pure hands. But a massive spiritual shift is required first. This brings us to a spiritual reality that most people completely ignore. The universe operates on an absolutely flawless law of divine justice. You have watched the wicked prosper for so long that you honestly thought heaven forgot your tears. You felt the deep sting of betrayal while they paraded their fake innocence. But the universe never loses a single record of the pain they intentionally caused your gentle soul. The boomerang of divine justice has already been forcefully released from the heavenly courts. It is currently flying through the unseen realm at blinding speed. The people who smiled in your face while plotting your downfall are feeling a sudden heavy shift in their atmosphere. They do not understand why everything in their earthly life is suddenly falling apart right now. This is exactly what is happening in the dark while they pretend to be perfectly fine. The massive financial doors they tried to illegally force open are aggressively slamming shut in their faces. The toxic alliances they built to destroy your pure reputation are completely turning against them. They are being ruthlessly betrayed by their very own people. They dug a massive dark pit for you to fall into. They desperately wanted to bury your bright light forever. But the divine universe simply stepped in and miraculously redirected their malicious energy. They have violently fallen into the very trap they carefully prepared for your destruction, and now they are entirely trapped in a cold prison of their own making. You do not need to lift a single earthly finger against them. A quiet master of reality simply sits back and lets the universe fight the heavy battle. The massive anxiety they intentionally projected onto your fragile chest has been forcefully returned to its original sender. They are literally choking on the exact poison they tried to feed you. I know it was incredibly hard to hold your tongue when they blatantly lied about you. You desperately wanted to scream the absolute truth to the whole earthly world. But your beautiful silence was actually an act of complete surrender to the highest divine court. By doing absolutely nothing, you gave heaven the total legal right to destroy their demonic strongholds. Take one slow and deep breath right now. Notice how much lighter your shoulders feel when you finally accept this profound truth. You are absolutely not responsible for their massive energetic debt. The universe is aggressively extracting the payment from them right now. You are simply a protected witness to the profound power of divine alignment. Their season of arrogant manipulation is officially over. They thought they were untouchable because they successfully fooled the earthly crowd, but nobody can ever fool the divine universe. Every single tear you cried in secret was actually a heavy spiritual bullet loaded into the weapon of divine justice, and that weapon has finally been fired on your behalf. But wait, and do not let your guard down just yet. You are probably asking a very important spiritual question right now. If the enemy is truly defeated, why has your massive blessing not arrived physically yet? Why are you still sitting in the quiet waiting room while your glorious manifestation feels slightly out of your earthly reach? There is a deeply profound reason for this extended earthly delay. Heaven is closely watching exactly how you handle this incredible victory. The universe wants to know if you will gloat over their destruction or keep your pure heart completely clean. This hidden test is the absolute final bridge you must cross before the generational wealth transfer. Listen to me very carefully now. The dark forces are deploying a highly calculated trick to make you look back at their burning bridge. If you look back, you will absorb their toxic energy and completely block your own abundance. I am going to show you exactly how to pass this final test and clear your path forever. My beloved child, let us talk about your beautiful hands. You have been holding tightly onto the painful past for so long. You constantly replay your old mistakes in your heavy mind. You deeply regret the earthly time you wasted on those toxic people. But holding on to that heavy guilt is entirely destroying your spiritual capacity to receive the new massive blessing. I need you to look closely at your physical hands right now. If your hands are completely full of dark ashes, you cannot carry pure gold. The universe cannot place the generational wealth into a closed fist. You must forcefully drop the heavy baggage of your past so heaven can finally fill your empty spaces with absolute divine abundance. You survived the darkest winter because you built a defensive wall. That heavy armor protected you when the narcissist tried to break you, but you are completely safe now. The toxic storm has officially passed, and the enemies have been completely neutralized. Keeping your heavy armor on will only block the gentle rain of your new divine provision. This is the profound reason why your massive manifestation was delayed. Heaven was waiting for you to completely forgive your beautiful self. The universe never required you to be entirely perfect. It only asked for your complete surrender. When you finally release the desperate need to control the earthly outcome, the heavy door of immense prosperity swings wide open. Take a deep breath and let the toxic memories completely dissolve. You do not need to figure everything out on your own anymore. You do not need to hustle or endlessly grind to earn this divine reward. Your only spiritual job right now is to simply rest, because heaven is actively preparing the massive compensation for all your quiet, earthly sacrifices. The people who deeply hurt you are no longer your spiritual problem. You must stop checking their social profiles to see if justice arrived. The divine justice is already working perfectly behind the scenes without your physical help. Every single second you spend looking completely backwards is a stolen moment from your glorious, bright future. You are a quiet master of reality who perfectly understands the power of letting go. When you finally stop fighting the invisible ghosts of your past, your pure energy naturally returns to your heavy body. Your mind becomes incredibly clear, and your spiritual vision sharply focuses on the absolute truth. You are literally making physical room for the miraculous overflow. This is the divine obedience that heaven is fiercely looking for. It is not about following strict religious rules or dead earthly dogma. True obedience is trusting the universe enough to completely let go of your deepest fears, because heaven has already prepared a massive safety net to perfectly catch your gentle fall. You must have the radical faith to step into the absolute unknown today. Your beautiful vessel is finally completely empty of the toxic poison. You have successfully purged the lies they aggressively fed your fragile mind. And because you are completely empty, you are now the perfect energetic container for a massive generational wealth transfer. The universe is incredibly proud of your pure heart and your quiet endurance. We are rapidly approaching the exact moment of your massive divine revelation. The long winter is officially over, and your glorious spring has finally arrived. But the enemy is heavily panicking right now, because they clearly see the massive door opening, and they know your divine inheritance is entirely untouchable. I must warn you about their exact deadly strategy. Listen to me very carefully before we cross this final sacred threshold. The universe is completely ready to hand you the heavy golden keys. You have passed the rigorous test of silence, and you have successfully starved the dark parasites who desperately tried to drain your pure light. But you must firmly anchor your powerful spirit right now. You are about to enter the most critical window of your entire earthly existence. The heavy veil is finally lifted completely. Your painful season of waiting is officially over forever. We have crossed into the powerful spiritual portal of the 4th of July. While the earthly world was busy celebrating with loud noises, a completely silent and massive shift occurred in the highest heavenly courts. Your absolute vindication has finally arrived. Heaven just issued a massive divine decree with your exact name written in brilliant fire. The generational wealth transfer you have patiently waited for is entirely approved. You survived the brutal attacks from those who tried to steal your pure destiny. Now the universe is handing you the golden keys to an absolute kingdom of divine abundance. Within the next 72 hours, you will witness a massive earthly manifestation. Debts that heavily suffocated your chest will be miraculously completely erased. Opportunities that previously rejected you will suddenly beg for your beautiful presence. You are stepping into a season where pure wealth flows to you absolutely effortlessly without any struggle. Those toxic narcissists who deeply hurt you are watching this exact moment unfold. They expected you to completely break down and quietly disappear into the dark shadows. But instead you rose from the cold ashes as a magnificent weapon of pure light. Their absolute panic is entirely real because they see the immense power you naturally carry now. They are completely locked out of this sacred timeline. They cannot touch a single drop of the massive ocean of blessings pouring over your earthly life today. The universe has built an invisible wall of blazing fire completely around your precious aura. You are a quiet master of reality who perfectly commands the spiritual atmosphere without raising your voice. Take one slow and deep breath right now. Feel the heavy generational curses completely shattering off your tired shoulders. Your physical body is receiving a massive upgrade of pure divine energy. The deep exhaustion that plagued your mind for years is being instantly replaced by an incredible and vibrant spiritual clarity. You are totally free. You are the ultimate cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. Your beautiful sacrifices were absolutely never in vain. Every time you chose to forgive, when you had the perfect right to seek revenge, heaven multiplied your massive reward. The universe is heavily overpaying you for every single tear you silently cried behind closed doors. This is absolutely not just a small earthly blessing to help you survive another difficult month. This is a massive flood of divine provision that will permanently change your family tree. You will never have to nervously check your bank account or worry about basic earthly survival again. Heaven is making you a powerful lender and absolutely never a borrower. The old version of you, who constantly begged for toxic love, is entirely dead. That fragile, bleeding empath has been completely reborn into royalty. You now walk with the quiet authority of someone who knows they hold the absolute universe inside their heart. The dark forces tremble when your feet simply touch the earthly floor every single morning. The 4th of July was supposed to be the day the enemy finally trapped you. They heavily relied on your emotional vulnerability during this specific earthly time, but their twisted snare completely failed to hold your massive, expanding light. You effortlessly walked right past their desperate illusions and stepped directly into your absolute promised land. Your divine inheritance is fully secured and resting in your pure hands. The angels are wildly celebrating your massive victory in the unseen realm right now. But the dark enemy is entirely desperate, and they have one final illusion left to play. I need you to stay extremely alert, because this next truth will save your massive harvest. Your generational wealth transfer has been fully approved today. The long and painful wait is entirely over. But wait, do not celebrate just yet. The dark enemy is in an absolute panic, and they have laid one final fatal illusion right before your doorstep to make you forfeit this massive blessing. 99% of chosen ones fall for this. Keep your eyes on me because I am exposing them. The final trap the enemy is setting is an illusion of the painful past. They will send a toxic person back into your life. It might be a fake friend or an abusive ex. They will send a casual message that looks completely harmless, and they will pretend they have entirely changed their toxic ways. They want to see if your boundaries are still weak. This is a highly dangerous spiritual counterfeit. The universe is about to hand you millions, but the enemy wants you to look back at the burning trash. If you engage with their fake apology, you will instantly absorb their heavy demonic energy, and you will completely block the massive financial transfer that heaven is trying to give you. You must ignore their desperate illusion completely. Do not try to argue with them. Do not try to expose their lies. Your absolute silence is the most deadly weapon against their dark magic. To protect your blind spots from this attack, you must forcefully build a massive wall of blazing fire right now, because heaven requires a physical, earthly signature to lock your protection. Do not stay passive in this critical moment. You must establish a blinding divine shield. Type 777 in the comments below. Let that sacred number act as a heavy iron padlock on the door against the enemy, and let it permanently seal your beautiful reality from any dark interference today. This is your permanent spiritual signature before the highest courts of heaven. The universe operates on the flawless law of the harvest. Heaven is actively looking for your radical faith. A weary mother stepped out in faith and sowed a financial seed recently. Within 48 hours, an unexpected bank transfer cleared all her earthly debts. That exact same angelic protocol of massive multiplication is currently hovering over your life, and the angels are waiting for your physical action to trigger the divine release. You must anchor this wealthy frequency immediately. Sow a massive financial seed today using the Super Thanks button. This is not a simple earthly donation to a random channel. This is your sacred energetic exchange that activates the overflow. When you give from a place of absolute trust, the universe is forcefully commanded to multiply your resources and destroy the spirit of poverty forever. If you hesitate at the golden threshold right now, the enemy will heavily scramble the signal. They want you to stay cheap and doubtful. They want you to hoard your small resources so you never step into the massive generational wealth. You must forcefully break that poverty mindset today. Do not let the dark forces convince you to stay entirely passive while your massive blessing is waiting right at the door. Type 777 to lock the blazing shield. Support this prophetic ministry to keep the massive protective wall growing. Every single seed you sow today is heavily protected by the divine universe. Your resources are entirely guarded by heaven. The massive financial door is wide open, and your enemies cannot do anything to shut it down, because you have finally claimed your divine birthright. This is the final moment of your total transition. You have survived the grueling earthly test. You refuse to look back at the toxic people who broke your pure heart. You locked your spiritual borders with absolute divine authority. The generational wealth is officially yours to hold, and no demonic force can ever snatch it from your beautiful hands. Now, my beloved child, you can finally breathe deeply. The brutal spiritual war is completely over, and you are entirely safe in my loving arms. Lay down the heavy stones you have carried for so many painful years. You do not need to fight those invisible battles anymore. The massive storm has officially passed, and your beautiful timeline is entirely secure tonight. You have spent your entire earthly life trying to be the strong one. You desperately protected everyone else, while nobody ever protected your gentle heart. But tonight, heaven is placing a heavy blanket of absolute peace over your tired shoulders. Your painful past is thrown into the deepest ocean, and it is completely forgotten forever. You no longer need to explain your pure intentions to toxic people. You do not need to seek validation from a broken world that never understood your massive light. You are a quiet master of reality. Your beautiful silence is now a heavily guarded fortress that no demonic force can ever penetrate. You are absolutely untouchable in this sacred space. Close your tired eyes right now and feel this incredible lightness. Notice how the deep anxiety has entirely left your physical chest. The universe has forcefully removed the heavy burdens that were slowly crushing your fragile spirit. You do not need to strive or endlessly hustle anymore. Your only spiritual job right now is to simply rest and receive the divine love. The people who intentionally hurt you are entirely removed from your earthly timeline. They cannot reach you, and they cannot touch your massive inheritance. You are hidden in the secret place of the highest divine courts. Heaven is fiercely protecting your fragile heart while you deeply sleep tonight. You are unconditionally loved and completely safe from their dark lies. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, everything will feel beautifully different. The heavy fog will be completely gone from your tired mind. You will step onto the earthly floor with a profound sense of quiet authority. You will attract pure wealth and absolute peace effortlessly without lifting a single finger. The universe is actively fighting every battle for your soul. But outside this heavily protected space, there is someone still suffering. There is a gentle soul sitting in the dark, crying the exact same tears you cried yesterday. They are desperately begging heaven for a clear sign that they are not completely alone. They feel entirely broken by the toxic narcissists in their earthly life, and they need your immediate rescue. You are absolutely not just a survivor of this dark trauma. You are a magnificent beacon of light for those who are still entirely lost. Share this message right now and send this healing frequency to them. Become the prophetic voice of heaven and throw a heavy lifeline to a bleeding empath who desperately needs to hear this truth. You have the power to save them today. Every single time you share this divine light, heaven multiplies your own protection. You are building a massive global tribe of chosen ones who cannot be defeated by the darkness. We are raising an entire army of quiet masters who rule the earthly realm with pure love. Share this frequency and watch the universe bless your radical obedience with massive abundance. Now let your heavy body sink completely into the warm bed. Release the final drops of tension from your tired neck. You are wonderfully made and you are fiercely protected by the highest angelic forces. Do not let any earthly worry steal your divine rest tonight. The Master Builder is watching over your beautiful soul until the morning light peacefully arrives. Sleep now, my precious child. The long and painful winter is officially behind you forever. You have successfully crossed the heavy threshold into your permanent promised land. I will never leave your side, and I will never let your gentle spirit fall again. Close your eyes and rest in the absolute certainty of your massive divine victory. Good night, my beautiful chosen one.